Good evening, everybody, and I'm coming to you live on Friday, the 10th of April, and this is your live update about the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill. So we go first of all onto the ITV News article, which has had a real stir in lots of the pages and in the action group as well, talking about stricter homeschooling rules, prompting the warnings about overstretched councils. So this article is mostly about the councils complaining that they haven't got the funding and they haven't got the staff in order to do what the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill will require them to do. And Rachel D'Souza and a few home educators have been interviewed for this article. It's a really good one for home educators because it's a very honest piece and they cite statistics, whereas Rachel D'Souza and anyone that opposes our view doesn't tend to use any statistics, but says about likely risk. There is a social worker in here, so that's a trigger warning for those of you that have a problem with people that have uninformed decisions, deciding that they are the experts on home education. Just to warn you, if you are watching this, you might want to have a sit down and a cup of tea. Maybe not spit it all over the laptop while you're reading it. But it is a good mix of officials and home educators coming together to make one article. There's some interesting comments in here. So I think, have you got a good one there, Kat? It's the crucial that this is met with the funding to allow us to carry on our statutory duties well, she's added.
But they forgot to actually lobby for that properly when the legislation was going through, because the current wording says that local authorities may request a home visit and not must. Which means so the Department for Education may give them the funding.
The Department for Education may do a home visit rather than must do a home visit. There is a bit of a switch around with that wording in this. So you might want to have a look at this document, article, media piece, that brings together lots of different views. There are some statistics there. Those are correct. 126,000 children are at the last census recorded as electively home educating in England, and that is actually not the statistic that I would use. I would say that it's only been a 12.8% rise since 2024. They said 25 there, but it's
that's not as good as
interesting
them, is it?
The way that they've kind of jumped to 2023 to give a 40% increase. We have seen that there is an increase in children in secondary school. One of the home educators, that one just there, said very specifically that children in secondary schools are more effective adversely from being forced out of the school. And there is a quite strong bit in there about the young girl saying that she is happier at home. There is a mum there with a SEND child saying that their child had stated that they would rather not be around than to go back to school. So definitely a good one for us to kind of wave in front of MPs' noses. And we can move then on to where we are with the bill. So there has been a little bit of progress. They are straight back on it, and the Commons will now be looking over the Lords' amendments. The Lords have said, we note your objection. However, this is what we propose instead. And they're really pushing that social media ban that they really want the Commons to consider, and a VPN ban. And the Commons so far have just come back with saying, well, we would like to object about having a ban of phones in schools, and we would like to object to a complete social media ban. And they keep going back to this phrase called user to user services. So any sites that have user to user content, and this includes Wikipedia, Facebook, Discord, and forums, all of these could be banned under either of these schemes. And it's important that you highlight to your MPs when you write to them that the list is not yet published. It will be published in July of this year. So this law is making rules about the list,
Just
which has
to
not
clarify,
yet been
the
published.
list of what?
The list of sites. So at the moment, it includes Wikipedia and all of those other sites, but they've objected to being included in that list. So at the moment, we don't know.
Wait, no,
which
list of sites for what?
will
Sorry,
be
I'm not following.
affected by the social media ban. All we know at the moment.
Well, are these sites being considered as social media?
Yes, they're all being considered as social media because they are classified as user to user sites. So the terminology sounds different to us, but to the House of Lords and the House of Commons, they're interchangeable, a bit like home education and homeschooling. And we know that there's a difference between those as well. So it's important that we tell our MPs that this list is not the same as what we have defined it as. So our definition of social media is very different to what the government have currently defined it as being. So much so that some companies and websites have actually already objected, which is why they've delayed publishing that list. Lots and lots of objections from the Commons. The Lords are just saying, could you please just consider this again? So it's really interesting. There will be more updates. They've only come back at the moment saying that they object to the social media stuff. We are expecting them to possibly tweak the wording on the other 3 amendments that the Lords are proposing, and that will be updated. This is only today's update, so hopefully this will develop.
This one, there's been a sort of pattern when the government have put their amendments in. They'll start with a couple, maybe about a week before it's due to next be heard, and then they keep just releasing more and more in the days running up to the
sitting.
Here
is that they do release a couple of objections in advance, but then there tends to be a flurry of other objections nearer to the time when they sit to discuss it. So definitely keep your eye out for any new communications around the bill. We will post it on various sites when we get anything new come in.
The other part that they're put an objection to so far is the use of mobile phones in schools. So basically, user-to-user internet services for children and young people, mobile phones in schools, and we'll see what else is published in the run-up to Wednesday.
Yeah, so
what did you want to do next, Amy?
Yeah, the top there, you just scrolled. The mobile phones there and the user-to-user internet sites, those are both already being objected to in the House of Commons. So, like I said, there will be likely more publishing lists come out closer to the time, but at the moment we can already see that the House of Commons are still disagreeing with the House of Lords. So it will have to go back to the House of Lords to see if they agree with those two. So that's good news for us. There's more of a delay in the bill, which is brilliant. Okay, so on to oral questions. The deadline for oral questions is Tuesday, which means if you write to your MP now, there's a chance that they will see it on Monday morning and submit those oral questions. So if you have any questions that you would like your MP to ask the Prime Minister, do it now and make it a good one.
The deadline for Tuesday is for education questions.
Yeah, they need to be education.
I think everyone's familiar with like Prime Minister's questions, which is where the Prime Minister answers questions every week.
But so the Prime Minister
around every 6 weeks,
and
the ministers for each department have
to delay the bill and get more questions and more MPs asking questions around this bill and whether it is a good idea to pursue it or if we should actually pause it and actually do what all the other MPs are saying and actually have a debate and discuss it properly and maybe make the social media stuff a different bill so that there's not too much all in one place not being discussed and just rushed through. So,
but it's also that there are, I know, the parts of the bill are really, they work within different government departments as well. Obviously, we have the education part. There, education questions. The deadline is this coming Tuesday, the 14th of April. There's also, say, you could ask the DSIT, the Science, Innovation and Technology. Sorry?
So there's other opportunities as well on different topics.
So say you could ask your MP to ask Science, Innovation and Technology about, say, how the children's data is going to be handled and
the children's
what
data
they're planning on using and what they're planning on using artificial intelligence for.
And technology subject instead. So you could use a couple of the subjects there to write to your MP. Okay.
Yeah, but there's also, because they're going to be using the NHS number, you could ask them to do the health questions as well. So there's lots of different departments that it can be covered by.
That you could write to your MP about. One that Kat is suggesting is because it's the proposal to use the NHS number, you could obviously ask either the Science and Innovation and Technology how children's data is going to be used, but you could also use the fact that it's the NHS number to ask a question in the health department. So there's lots of subjects that will be discussed and the Prime Minister will answer based on those themes each week. So this is a good week to get in there and submit a question for your MP to ask. Shall we go on to the consultations then? So we've got two main consultations at the moment that you might be interested in. There are some others, including a SEN consultation. This one is keeping children safe in education. And the main reason for answering this is because it will affect us in some ways. It's a very good consultation to do if you've not got very much time. You can use the online form to submit your views. And it's important because a lot of our community have obviously left education due to safeguarding reasons. And this is a very good consultation to share your experience of that. You can write in using the email, so you don't have to use the online form, and that will give you a little more freedom to actually talk about your own experience and give them an idea of why your experience is important when considering this proposal. So there's a lot of sections there. Yes, 9 sections, Kat. But I assure you, the online form to respond to this wasn't that intense. It was quite an easy one to do. And it is one that you can leave and come back. So you can go and have a tea break and come back and click through. Most of it was multiple choice. But obviously, if you want to write, as we used to back in the old days, a proper report and then email it across to them, you can do so. Just use those 9 sections and the questions attached to them to form your report to them. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Kat. And then the last consultation that I'm going to talk about tonight is the digital ban, social media ban. So this is the government's version of what they would do if their amendment gets through. And there's a few hints in this, but be warned, we have found some technical issues with this. You don't have to give your child's full postcode. You can say that you don't give permission. The parent does need to fill out the first few questions of the child's survey before handing the survey to the child. If you exit the survey, this is the adult, professional, or child's one, at any point, you will struggle to go back onto the survey unless you clear your cookies or use a different device. So we have found workarounds. It does say that you have completed the survey, but that may not be the case. You could answer a couple of questions and then get interrupted, and it would decide that you've completed it. You can go into this document that Kat's showing you here. There is an email there, and like with the last consultation, you can email them a report so that you don't have to fit with the constraints of the multiple choice form to fill out. The Keeping Children Safe in Education deadline, I believe, is the 22nd of April. So you've not got very long to do that one. Whereas this digital ID consultation is going to be until mid-May. So you've got a little bit of time left to do this one. If you haven't done the Keeping Children Safe in Education, get that one done this week. And then if you have the capacity, please, please, please do the digital ID one, but be very much aware that there are a few glitches and a few little tweaks that we're recommending, which is don't give permission for your child's postcode to be given to them, because the data isn't going to be kept within the government. So make sure that you have responded to both of those consultations. We have a few petitions still available for you to sign. The Pause the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill is our main one that we are backing. That is a teenagers petition. So we really should give that a lot of support, because we do need to get that up. As of yesterday, I think the amount of signatures on that were 3,800. So we really do need to get that up so that that can be debated in Parliament. As always, if you would like to subscribe to our Substack, please make sure that you put !Substack, and you will automatically be subscribed to our Substack. It will give you a nice little link now, and you can read all of this and the additional petitions, all their links, all the consultation links, and extra information and articles linked to this. So please do use that. It's really useful to have that all in one place, and you can visit it as many times as you like. You don't have to do it all in one go. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Have I missed anything, Kat? She's been buzzing away in my ear.
No, Amy, I've been on the video. You've been talking over me.
Sorry. I thought you were in my ear. You told me.
No, I told you I was talking tonight, but never mind.
Okay, so
we'll try again next week.
Much, and goodbye from Kat.
Good night, everybody. We will be back next Friday, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Night.